anywhere from 15,000 to 45,000 individuals are lost every year. If we learn how to do this well and sustain some of those core changes, we can change the way respiratory viruses, not only for this, but the future, affect Americans.
That's a big thing. A question on the clinical data. So we've had now over 5,000 people test positive. We've had 990 deaths or so. When are we going to know the data of who those people are? Who is that infected? What the ages are? What the pre-existing conditions are? How serious it was? Both for those who have been tested positive, but also those who have died.
Well, you are singing high student music. I'm very data oriented, so thank you for bringing up this issue of data. I really want to applaud HHS. We had a discussion about this several days ago. They've made calls into Seattle and California to really understand that, and also importantly to understand how many of their patients needed ventilators, how many of them needed oxygen support, how many of them needed and what they needed. Could we predict early someone who was going to have a more difficult course? These are all the questions we're asking right and answering right now. We did get an early report back from Santa Clara and Seattle. We're digesting it. We just got it this morning. We're looking at that carefully because we think that roadmap is very important to other communities. We have not discussed this with New York yet. We do know from other countries, and that all is available online, that profile. You can see that mortality is extraordinarily low. The mortality across the board outside of Wuhan is now settling somewhere around 0.7, but that should not be reassuring because it's much higher in people with pre-existing medical conditions, even if young, and people that are older with pre-existing medical conditions. And so we still want every American focused on doing what they can do today to change the course of this pandemic.
Committed to making that data public so we will all know.
We're committed not only to making it public, but to have a website that everyone can see in real time.
Dr. Burns, if I could just follow up, and I think you all are signaling a much more aggressive posture towards containment mitigation now. Many states have been very aggressive, but there is a small number of states that have not issued public guidance to their residents. Is it important for the success of the effort that 100% of the states be forward-leaning on this? And if so, Mr. President, what would be your message to those states that have not? Okay.
So that's why the Vice President and the President yesterday issued those critical guidelines. As I said this morning on Fox and Friends, you can look at them as the guidelines, you can look at them as requirements, and you can look at them as the President asking every American in every state to follow those. That's why we put them out at the federal level. We wanted to make sure every American knew what they could do today to change the course of this epidemic. I think it's empowering. I think it says all of us have a social responsibility to each other, and that's why
Wonder if it's
we believe that
gonna be
every
slippery,
mayor
Yana.
and every governor should be instituting these guidelines that came from the White House and the President
Oh,
of the
it
United
was
States.
slippery.
And we've been very tough on those states. I know exactly what you're talking about. We've been very tough on them. Thank you. Please, go ahead. Follow-up question on the testing. You've been telling us for days now that millions of tests have been sent out. So why have fewer than 60,000 people actually been tested?
I think you will see different numbers this week. You heard just of 8,000. Remember, all of these tests, the high-speed tests, were approved last Friday night, and last Thursday night. I think if I could talk to Thermo Fisher and the other
he has tasked the Secretary of the Treasury to work with members of Congress in both parties to make sure that we construct the kind of economic support that will allow those industries to weather the period of the coronavirus and then to come back stronger than ever before.
We've had such incredible, I don't know, it's almost